All right, Miles, let's talk about the Tennessee Titans. This is a team that the last couple of years, they've been one of the better teams in the AFC. They got a deep roster, good coach under Mike Vrabel. But the real question mark has been, is Ryan Tannehill good enough to carry this team to where their talent level is? And that's a deep playoff run, ideally to the Super Bowl, potentially to win it. And so far, there are some concerns about that. The Titans are 0-2, and they're coming off a tough loss against the Buffalo Bills. And we saw the emergence of one particular exciting young rookie. And I know you are going to talk about that in a little bit in a second. Before I hand it off to you, though, Titans fans, look, tough start. You're 0-2. There have been some bright spots. The defense has had some moments. You've had some young players, some playmakers on offense have come out and had strong starts. Let us know in the comment section below what Titan player you've been the most impressed with through the first 2 weeks of the season. Let us know who you think's really done a good job through the first two games. But Miles, what are your thoughts on the Titans right now?
Nick, I'm not really sure what to think about the Titans. This is a team who was the number one seed last year in the AFC. Obviously, a real tough loss week one to the Giants, a team that you'd think traditionally you should definitely beat the Giants. Then the Bills, I would say the Bills are definitely, I pencil them in to make it to the Super Bowl this year from the AFC. They look tremendous so far. They look unstoppable, quite frankly. But this is a team you would hope the Titans, who were a contender last year, would be able to put up a fight against. But that is not the case. They got absolutely shellacked by the Bills. And Tannehill did not impress. Very low passing yards, some crucial picks, especially a bad pick six. So just overall, Tannehill doesn't do you enough to get you past the Giants. Really bad loss to the Bills so far. The question begs, is it Malik Willis time? Is it time for the young, dynamic rookie quarterback out of Liberty to come in and, is he the guy that gets you over the edge? And I'll give you an answer here, Nick. And it's maybe in a couple games we see if you pick your spot wisely. Because I remember there was, an older quarterback and this guy, his name was Joe Flacco. And he played for a team called the Baltimore Ravens. He came out. He was having a rough year. He ended up getting banged up, I guess. And then he sat. And your young, dynamic, rushing rookie quarterback, Lamar Jackson, comes in. And he goes 8-0 and brings your team to the playoffs. And is this something that Malik Willis is capable of doing? Is he the spark that this team needs? Do you kind of nichely give your team a different look, a different offense to fit Malik Willis's skills early on, make it a little bit easier for him, maybe some design runs, some read option kind of plays, stuff like that, and try to see if he can give you a spark to push you forward because, like you said, they have a very good defense, very good rushing attack with Derrick Henry and Haskins and all kinds of other guys. Is this an option for the Titans, Nick? What do you think about that?
Yeah, so what I kind of harken back to, and you kind of mentioned the fact, obviously the fact they got absolutely crushed by the Buffalo Bills, right? And the Bills are the class of the AFC, and maybe in the fact the only NFL potentially. And their other competitor, of course, is the Kansas City Chiefs, who have looked very good through two games. When you keep that in mind and you're looking for the Titans, you have to ask yourself, and this is a hard question to ask, but you have to come to the realization is that, look, right now with Ryan Tannehill, we are not a championship football team. Now, it doesn't mean you punt, you don't tank, but you have to evaluate both short and long what's best for winning. And you look at, well, does Ryan Tannehill help us to win in the short term? And of course, before the season, that's what everybody was saying. This is from Clutch Points mentioned. This was a column before the season started. And I'm going to read from this real quick. He says, while Willis, talking about Malik Willis here, may have more upside than Tannehill, it's clear that Tannehill is the better option under center for the Tennessee Titans right now. He has a strong understanding of the Titans offense and has proven he can lead his team to the playoffs before. Now, the problem is, as we've seen, of course, week one, the loss to the Giants, which wasn't 100% the time Tannehill's fault, but, you lose the game as a quarterback to a team you're supposed to beat. That part of that blame falls on you. And, of course, the abysmal performance against the Bills. Now an argument can really be made that maybe Tannehill is not the best option for the Titans right now. And if that window just gets narrowed, that gap, that delta between Willis and Tannehill just gets very narrow. It doesn't even have to be big. If it just tightens up a little bit, that means you definitely need to go to Malik Willis, because you need to know if Malik Willis is your long-term guy. Because what we've seen from Tannehill, right? You saw it against the Bills when the turnovers rear their ugly head, like what happened against the Bengals in the playoffs last year. This Titans team just really struggles, because if a team will focus on Derrick Henry like the Bills did, they need Tannehill to make plays. And if he can't make those plays, then this Titans offense just doesn't have any answers against the better teams.
Yeah, Nick. I mean, you have Derrick Henry, you have a stable of pretty nice running backs as well. Why not put Malik Willis in there? Why not do more read option type stuff? Why not do more, pistol power running formations? This is a team that can really thrive on the run game in the short term. And then you let Malik Willis go through an offseason, develop more as a passer. And this is kind of what Baltimore did with Lamar Jackson. And it worked out pretty well for him. Lamar Jackson, he tough loss this past week, but he played incredibly. He had 3 touchdowns through the air, another one on the ground. He looked really, really nice. And if this is a model that you could follow that's had success in the NFL, obviously you drafted this guy because you thought you saw something in him. So why not try to develop him in that same mold as a guy like Lamar Jackson, a player that he's very similar to? I think this is a really good option for the Titans. I think it's something they consider. And I think in the next few games, we'll see if Tannehill continues to slide a little bit and isn't able to win the games that he's supposed to win. The cries from Malik Willis were going to come out more and more. And we may even see him, start to come out and be the starter for this team.
Well, and I think you look at next week, they have the Las Vegas Raiders, another team that a lot of people thought was going to be really good. That's 0-2. I don't know if you start Malik Willis against the Raiders. I think that's a tough ask. The Raiders have a tough front four, and I think it may be a little early. But if they fall to 0-3, and then you have the Colts, Washington, Colts again, then the Chiefs, right? The season can really get away from you if you're the Tennessee Titans. And if that starts to happen, there really is no harm in going to Willis at that point, because Tannehill isn't performing. So I think maybe you integrate him a little bit. Maybe you do like what Marcus Mariota did with the Raiders, right? When they kind of gave him some wildcat formation, some zone reads, just slowly integrate him into the offense and give Tannehill time to potentially win the job back with a strong performance and winning some football games. But if he doesn't, then I agree 100%. Then it's definitely the time to shift to Malik Willis.